Let's do this. Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Calling all the fighters, calling on survivors. Are you up all nighters? We can take it higher. Let's do this. Can you feel the fire running through your veins? Now you're burning brighter, don't look away. Shout out to the legends, rising from the wreckage. Count down the seconds, it's out your engines. Let's do this. I know we've got a long way to go. I know we've got a long road home. I know we've got a long way to go. Let's do this. Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Let's do this. Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Let's do this. Oh, you know we're gonna do this. Oh, you know we're gonna do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Florida for the RC2 Race Promotions 200 with the North-South Racing League. For Ghostfire Media, I am Josh Laston, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood.
Oh man, I am looking forward tonight. Five Flags puts on a great show, no matter what car is here, but these street stocks are going to put on a heck of a show for the fans tonight. I think there's going to be room for these guys to kind of make maneuvers up and down on these corners. I don't think it's going to be a bottom lane. I think people are going to be able to kind of find their different niche going into these corners to get some passes done tonight.
Well, as we get the perfect view of what is one of the things that we're going to have to watch throughout the night, Five Flags is beyond known for being very treacherous coming out of turn 4. I don't know exactly what it is. It feels like it drops down a little bit right as you're trying to get on the power, but the thing that this track is known for is the yearly Snowball Derby, which is a super late model, basically the last hurrah of the year. And those cars are a little bit wider than these street stocks, so it doesn't impact them nearly as much. But these guys, one little millimeter of a throttle too much, and this car's around on the front stretch.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the tricky parts of this track, turn 4. Turn 4, you try to get a great run off of it, but a little bit too much throttle. Basically any car here, and as you see, number 91, get loose and go around right there.
That was Adam Gebel, and yeah, these guys, it's the first lap is definitely going to be interesting as these guys are jockeying for position, looking to see if anybody just has that little bobble. And again, we're watching this perfectly. It's almost as if the entire race is just like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and prove their point.
I mean, sometimes it's nice, you know, we get to talk about it, and sometimes it never happens. We just talk about randomness that could happen, and but tonight we're talking about it, and they're proving our point just perfectly.
As I was running some laps earlier to kind of get a feel for it, because I've never run the street stock here, I've run just about every other car at this track. So I wanted to make sure I knew what I was getting ourselves into tonight. And The one thing that I did notice that I never really experienced too much in other cars, the back end was coming around on me going into the turns. It's not something I'm used to dealing with. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not something I'm normally going to see unless I'm forcing the issue.
I got you. Yeah, and it all depends on where you put your brake bias and how hard you try to slam it in to get the most out of the corner. You can definitely, modulate the brake to kind of get rid of that, but it can happen under heavy braking depending on what happens in front of you.
And it's going to be a really good race. It is the one thing that I do love about Five Flags that we've kind of missed the past few weeks. There's a little bit heavier of banking, which makes it to where the outside lane is going to be able to have a little bit better of a time. I was seeing about a 10th difference between hitting that first lane indicator and then dropping all the way down. It really does help being able to carry that extra momentum that the banking affords to not be completely blown away by that low line.
Yeah, the hard part is if you try to do like a late apex into these corners, it allows for other people to kind of stick their nose underneath you where you can't hit that late apex. They basically force your hand and take away to that late apex. So it's a give and take. If you have enough clearance from the guy behind you, you're able to try and hit that late apex going into turn one. But if they're really close by, I think you're gonna have to drop it a little bit low to protect the corners.
And I'm very happy that Adam is being a gentleman and not calling me out for doing that to him multiple times in the same race and wrecking both of us in the process. Because
yeah, I mean I've done it too, so I can't really say too much. I think it was here I wrecked a teammate, so unfortunately it was first big race I think with the super late models, and I forgot how wide those cars were. And I thought I had more room and dove it into turn one and did not work out for us. Or actually didn't work out for him.
Well, and that's the best part, is it just doesn't work out. As we're hitting qualifying, and these guys are under 18 seconds in practice. So we're going to have to see who's going to be able to really throw together a great lap time, as we have quite a few people hitting the track early, and we'll actually follow the 91 of Adam Gebel on his first lap. And actually, let's take it to the roll bar for his first lap. As you can see, he tries to get himself straightened out as early as he can. He's getting himself down to that wall, which last season during this race, we saw a little bit of trouble coming from that wall. And some people getting squeezed down into it, but again, he's getting himself as straight as he can to avoid that float that happens coming out of turn 4. And his lap was an 18.21, which is good enough for second right now, as Jesse Womack is currently the provisional pole sitter, and he's coming around for his second lap. Let's see if he's able to improve 500th slower.
Yeah, I think the way you arc the turn 4 on your out lap in your first one, I think it's paramount to get the quickest lap going into turn 1. So usually most people's fastest lap will be turn 1 here, unless you really mess up. Lap 1. Unless you mess up turns 1 and 2 on your first lap, then you kind of readjust and try to make the second lap your fast lap.
And here's the shocker. The current points leader, Mr. Dante Curtis, is a provisional pole sitter with a 17.99. And let's check in right now with Will Eastman in the hunt right now. Still in the top 5. Unfortunately, I don't have the beautiful standings that we normally do. Busy weekend for everyone to get those graphics created. But he is currently on his first hot lap. Let's see what he's able to do with that lap. He looks nice and tidy coming out of 4. Gets a little bit of a kick out at the end, and that's going to be good enough for 5th, as now Dustin Shepard is sitting in second, still above 18 seconds. Dante Curtis is the only person who's managed to pull that one off so far. As little loose coming out of 4, but that's actually okay as long as you can get the power back down. He was 400th slower, but still, that's good enough for second.
It's good to see Dante back out here this week. Last week he had hardware problems where his wheels didn't work and just kind of had to putz around all night and lost a lot of ground to them points. But good to see him back here and coming back with some vengeance, being the pole sitter right now.
And biggest thing is he ran on a controller as we're watching Kyle Walgreen, who tagged the wall, and that's going to negate a lap. So right now the only two we have out on track are Jeff Bergener, who is currently in 11th, and he's going to call it there. So that's going to give us John Cross, who's also coming to a stop. So these guys are just, we've only got a few seconds left in qualifying. We've got a few guys that haven't turned laps. And the one that's most surprising for me, down in 20th is Shane Loveridge, still in the fight for the championship, but starting at the very back is not going to be helpful.
Yeah. Unless we get a really, really, really good invert.
I mean, it's always possible.
Okay. Get a 21, 22 invert, and he's right back in the game.
Well, and the one thing we do need to remember is Ryan Johnson. He is going to be starting from the back tonight because he won last week. So no matter the invert, he's going to be back there. Even though that means he's probably hoping for a nice big one tonight. And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the luck of the draw has for us. But we're waiting for the actual flag to fly, to where while they're going through the warm-up, we'll run through where everyone qualified, and then we'll figure out where they're getting shuffled to for the race start. As no one really wants to go out on track. And there we go. So now we've got ourselves the results from qualifying, and it helps if I hit the right button here. All right, Dante Curtis is the pole sitter. Second is Dustin Shepard. Third, Jesse Womack. Fourth, Mike Alexander. And okay. I thought he was farther back. Oh, no, I was thinking Shane Loveridge. Oh, that's what happens there. Fifth is Ryan Johnson. Sixth, Will Eastman. Seventh, Brian Hacker. Eighth, Matt Cook. Ninth, Gage Killam. 10th, Rodney Huntoon. 11th is Jeff Bergener. And 12th is Gary Eschen.
All right, 13th will be Travis Hoefler. 14th is Adam Gebel. 15th is Jared Mogard. 16th is Robbie Clavey. 17th is Jordan Madron. 18th is Adam Baltimere. 19th is Jonathan Cross. 20th will be Shane Loveridge. 21st is Devin Rogers. 22nd is Kyle Walgreen, and 23rd is Jeff Mathis. Justin Grosser is out there right now waiting for the Wheel of Doom here.
I know, I was going to say, I figure we have a few people, and it helps if I hit the right button again. All right, let's go ahead and see how big of an invert we are going to get tonight and see what the spin brings us. And two.
Oh, man, come on. You just invert the top two. Man, you're here. Fired.
Hey, I wish I programmed this, but I didn't. I'm not that talented. So, what that brings us to is we are out there, and luckily it is a track that is capable of getting some quality passing. So we'll have to wait and see. These guys, it's going to be a two-stop race unless we run a lot under caution. I'm figuring about 90 laps for fuel. As we have Dante Curtis out there thanking me.
Oh man,
This is a track that it is actually being on the outside is not a death sentence like some others, and actually some like North Wilkesboro. I would actually rather start on the outside, so I would be gunning for that, as we're starting to see carnage. Not that that should surprise me in any way, shape, or form right now.
Yeah, these guys are looking forward to tonight. I know this is going to be a great racetrack for these guys. I think it's going to have the most passing opportunities that we've had in a short track in a while. Like you said, these higher bankings are going to allow for these guys to actually run side by side and keep up the momentum. The outside guy will be able to squeeze the inside guy down so he can't get the run that he wants down the straightaways. And these aren't long straightaways, so you don't have to worry about being out-muscled there.
But it is key to be able to get the speed off the corners because of those short straightaways, which is going to lead to a few people like we got to see there with Dante getting a little overzealous coming out of turn 4. And if I'm being honest, that's part of the reason why I think this could turn into a one-stop race. Though, tires will make a difference even though it is. All right, so we're just having a pile up right now.
Yeah, they're just going to pile up. That was tonight's objective, is just piling it up.
I was hoping that they would go for the tire. It's not quite a barrel. I do know a lot of people that love to hit those barrels, but
it's the same guy I destroyed.
I'm aware.
But yeah, these guys, I really like these guys like to have the shenanigans of the last minute of practice here. It's always fun to, kind of let loose right before some stress happens. If you don't like a guy, go ahead and just, this is all fun and games. I destroyed you. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, but you're actually going to take him out and then get settled back in for the game or for the actual race.
Yeah, the best part about these kinds of situations is the fact that at least these guys know it's coming, because I'll be the first to say I've had far too many people, Adam, slam into me, and then the force feedback in my wheel decides to rip my thumbs out of their sockets.
Yeah, those are always fun, just getting hit out of nowhere.
It is. It's even more fun when you're the one doing it. But all right, we are getting ourselves ready to race. We've got 200 laps in Pensacola, Florida. It's a beautiful night. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't say the same in Florida, and hearts and thoughts go out to everybody that was impacted by the hurricane, but we're here tonight, have some fun, and try to put that behind us as much as we can. So,
all right, they're going to invert, so we don't have to really talk about the lineup, how the invert's going to go, since it's just Dustin Shepard and Dante Curtis. And then who knows, Dustin Shepard might want to be on the outside. He gets lane choice, so he could just stay where he's at, or he could
that's
invert.
only on restarts.
Nope, he gets lane choice from the start. They just said.
Oh. So we may end up without an invert?
Yeah, it all depends on where Dustin Shepard wants to go. It looks like he wants to go inside.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if that's the right move.
I think for the initial start is the right move. I think later in the race on a restart, you want to be on the outside. I think whenever you get a control of the actual green flag, I'll take the outside. But for the initial start, the flagman does it. So the flagman chooses when you go green. So yeah, I'll take the bottom on this one.
I'm one of those people that loves to just floor it through the first turn and not have to hit brakes. I don't know if anybody out there listening has learned, I have a tendency to be a bit of an aggressive driver, which is why I can't make tires last. to where if it goes green for a long time, I'm just in the worst position imaginable. But the lights on the pace truck are off, and we are getting ourselves ready to go green. So they're stacked up 2 by 2. The invert is just inside to outside, waiting on that green flag, and it is flying as Dustin Shepard actually looks to get a little bit farther ahead of Dante Curtis. Dante Curtis is fighting around on that outside, seeing if he may be able to hold off. But it looks like the 14 of Jesse Womack's going to be able to get himself up in front, and Dante Curtis is going to cross him over, looking to get that low line going into turn 1. He has it, and he's going to be able to get this move done by the time he gets around to the next lap.
Yeah, that was a fantastic crossover. I saw him like kind of lay back in the middle 3, and I saw that coming down. I didn't know if he was trying to do a crossover move or if he was just trying to slot in right there between Jesse Womack and Brian Hacker, but he did a fantastic job. Right now, the top 4 or 5 are almost single file here. Jesse Womack's now getting kind of pinched up there, and then behind them though, it's just stacked up 2 by 2 to all the way to the rest of the pack.
And that is what I love to see. It means that that outside line is doing a good job of fighting, as Will Eastman manages to make that outside lane work. The 83 of Gage Killam gets a little bit loose on corner entry, and I did talk about that. It can be a little rough if you're trying to go in hot. But they are squeezing one another down as Jeff Bergener now manages to get himself up there, and I just wanted to poke up to the front where these guys have managed to get themselves single file. But the 11 is right there on the 14, and now they're trying to settle in, except for once we get back here to 10th.
Yeah, these guys are doing their best, trying to keep it straight 2 by 2. And just saw, was that Jeff? He's not in the chrome color. Yeah, it's him. He almost got sideways coming off a 4 there. He was able to catch it though, so that's good for him. Heated up tires just a little bit, but these guys are still racing 2 by 2. Matt Cook really wants to drop down here, but he has no place to go other than right there where he's at on the outside.
And that is unfortunate, just because it's a good racing, and he cuts off the nose of the 38 to get down on that low line, and that's a great move. Let's see if he's able to just keep it there. He's not running all the way out because he knows that Ryan Johnson, if he gets an inch, he will take it, as he's not quite able to get himself out to the wall because he has the 83 on his outside, but the 38 is now down below the 83. And the 15 is clear and able to run his line. These guys are trying to get single file. And Ryan Johnson, all the way at the back of the 23 car field, now up into 14th.
Yeah, slowly but surely we're
as the 91's around and collects it, manages to keep the yellow flag from flying. That's some fantastic car control. It is going to throw him towards the back of the field. But Adam Gebel, turn 4.
Yeah.
It is a cruel mistress.
Well, he saved his car. I mean, you know, heated up the tires a little bit, lost a little bit of pride there by doing that. But now he's just got to slowly work his way back up to the field. Can't give up any more time as we jump ahead where Mike Alexander and Will Eastman are racing right now. These guys are putting a heck of a battle going on here. We got Jeff Behringer. He was able to close the gap right there, making a 3-car battle. Everybody else kind of has a little bit of space in them, but these 2 cars right here are kind of closest to battle up front.
And Mike Alexander's given a little bit of space for Will Eastman. He knows he's probably going to try to make a move at some point. Best to go ahead and keep the sheet metal straight and pretty. This early in the race, we're about to be hitting lap 15 of 200. It's going to be a tire management race as long as these guys are keeping themselves clean and just keeping themselves within striking distance if they can.
Yeah, I mean, right now we got Dante Curtis. He's closed in on the leader right now as we're looking at Matt Cook here. Matt Cook is trying to get around Jordan Madden right there, trying to take another spot away from him, trying to slowly pick people off. But looks like he might get it done here. Yes, he does. He's going to be able to slide in right there in front of him. Jordan's going to drop down, and they're just going to now. Jordan's looking down low.
I had to jump back up here because right now Jeff Bergener is under pressure from Travis Hoefler, who gets the low line and is looking to make the pass. He is going a little bit into the wall, but the 21 holds on to it, and that should give the 20 the position. It's just going to be a matter of when he's able to slot in, but it looks like, for the most part, Jeff Bergener has that second line figured out pretty well.
Yeah, while you were doing that, we had a battle and a change of leader. Dante Curtis has gotten by Dustin Shepard. I saw him close the gap. He got within a bumper of him. But while we were looking at that, he was able to solidify and get that pass done.
What happens here, as he looks like he goes wide, hugs that inside line, gets the good run, and that's going to be the passing move. Is you're going to enter about a lane higher than you normally would and hug that inside wall on the exit of the turn. As we just got to see right there, Dante Curtis pulls it off, takes over the lead of this race, but his teammate Dustin Shepard is not giving an inch. But the battle for third is heating up between Brian Hacker and Jesse Womack. I wonder if they were able to see that move. And also right behind him, Will Eastman getting the move done on Mike Alexander. And that is what he was wanting to see, to where now he's able to try to close in on the 14 and join this party. Because if one person gets a pass done and everyone's close enough, there's a freight train running through town.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and, remember what Dante did. I talked about it earlier. The person in the front's got to do the defending line. And the guy behind him, he can run the late apex. And that's what Dante did. Dante was able to run a little bit higher entry, going in the corner, hit the later apex, and have a fantastic run off of turn two to get below Dustin Shepard. That's how he was able to make that pass work. So, like I said, there's going to be a lot of different driving lanes. It's not just a follow the leader track here. You're going to be able to throw your car around and try to make the apexes work for you, however you choose. So that was a great move by Dante Curtis to take over the lead.
And honestly, that is going to be just, these guys are working on setting up a second lead over third. And it's clinical at this point, but it looks like Dustin Shepard, he may be trying to pressure Dante into a little bit of an error to where the gap is closing ever so slightly. I don't know if that's Brian Hacker managing to turn on the jets, as we're on lap 27 of 200. As he's starting to pull away from Jesse Womack. I'm wondering if he may have overheated the tires while he was trying to get into third, because now he's dropping back. Will Eastman's looking to set up that pass, and there he goes. It looks like he almost had it coming out of turn two, but the 14 just goes ahead, runs the higher line, lets him past, and that's, I'm going to say, self-preservation.
Yeah, right now, I mean, you got to look at it. He could be, trying to save his tires, coming from a little bit longer run here, trying to maybe have a late run surge going on here. Just fall back, let these guys kind of take over, kind of back the corners up a little bit. Who knows exactly what's going on with them, but being stuck up on the outside's not helping him right now. He needs to drop down and find a little spot there, but Travis Hoefler filled that gap where he won't be able to, so he's going to look like he's going to lose at least 2 more positions here.
Yeah, chances are he's going to end up back in 9th behind the semi-chromed car of Jeff Bergener tonight. It's got a little bit there. He's a little shinier than everybody else. But the 21 is looking to go ahead and get himself up into 8th. And if I'm in the 14, I'm just going to let these guys by, slot in, because who is right there tracking him down? It's Ryan Johnson. As 23rd, now officially all the way up into 10th.
Yeah, it's a long climb for him tonight. He's, you know, got him stuff putting him back. Not the greatest qualifying effort tonight. But, I mean, hey, maybe we'll get the Hards Charger award if he continues this up and gonna continue just moving all the way to the front like he is.
I mean, in theory, he does have the hard charger, because he did start back in 23rd. However, doesn't calculate that on our side. Just shows where they qualified. But
yeah. I mean, are the race winners eligible, though, that get the black flag for the hard charger?
I don't know. It's something we've never really had to think too much about. But we're seeing some massive gaps up here at the front developing. Dante Curtis nearly a half a second in front of Dustin Shepard, who's 3/4 of a second in front of Brian Hacker, who's 3/4 of a second in front of Will Eastman, where we're starting to see that little bit of a separation after 36 laps.
Yeah. Dante's slowly starting to pull off a ways, about a half a second out in front of him. Dustin Shepard right now. We got Brian Hacker. He's moved his way up to 3rd, so he's up 4 spots as of right now. He's trying to close the gap in right now. He's about 3/4 of a second back right now from Dustin Shepard, and slowly moving his way through the field here. So I mean, he's been able to pick people off left and right to be able to get through here. Let's see if he can, you know, find his way up and catch up to Dustin Shepard.
And he's doing what he can, but that gap is pretty much stabilized to 3/4 of a second. And as per usual in these kinds of long runs, things just calm down after a little while. They get spread out as we have our first yellow of the evening. And let's see what happens here. Looks like Mr. Jordan Madron, and I'm just going to go ahead and immediately go to the chopper here because I see cars too close together. As we're getting into the first turn, and gets a little love tap from Robbie Clavey and these guys. As Jeff Bergener comes in there and slides on in, but I saw a car coming in, didn't realize that was the pace truck. That scared me for a moment there, but quite literally just about everybody is out there going to get their pit stops done, as John Cross stays out and looks like he's gonna go ahead and get a lap led and make his way into the pits. Not a terrible idea. But right now, Dante Curtis wins the battle off of pit road, and these guys smartly fill it up, get 4 tires, and make their way back out onto the track. And not really much of a shakeup. The big shakeup is Ryan Johnson ends up taking about 6 seconds longer total on pit road and drops himself back into 12th.
Wonder if he a different fuel load.
It was pit lane time. Oh, we had 2 people take 2 tires. Looks like Adam Gebel and Gage Killam right in front of him actually decided to take 2 tires, and it looks like Gage Killam's making his way back in. May have realized that wasn't the right idea.
I wonder how far back he was though. So he didn't want to go a lap down. So he, I don't think this is that bad of a track.
This is his second trip in.
Well, I'm saying he might have took right sides only when he first went in because he was too far back when he came in, and then now he's coming into a left sides or something to that effect.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, he just took 2 tires, so I'm gonna assume he unchecked a little bit more than he should have, but
On short tracks, you kind of get nervous if you're at the tail end of the line, if you're going to go a lap down or not, if you do all 4 tires.
But the lights
So,
on the pace truck are off, and okay, they had to. No, lights on the pace truck are off. We are getting ourselves set back up, ready to race as Dante Curtis. They did extend it. Okay, good. There was a little bit too much chaos for my liking. Not everybody was lapped up or lined up.
There's some admin stuff going on right now, trying to figure stuff out right now, who needs to be where and what's going on.
I do not envy admins at any point.
Hey, well, but I have to appreciate it. No, Justin, he does not race. It's awesome. He's able to kind of be the eye in the sky and see everything and kind of make the judgment calls. So it's pretty nice in this league that not having an in-race admin and actually have a full-time admin.
All right, we are going racing this time around. Maybe. No. The pace truck is just doing its thing.
Yep, now you're going to extend it out.
Too many people on the longest line.
Because they're trying to get all the wave around cars all single file. They're going this time.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and back it up, and hopefully they are not going to psych me out as Dante Curtis leads us to green and goes early. Gets a great jump to be able to slot in. Dustin Shepard goes right in behind him, and we're pretty much back where we started. To where Brian Hacker's right there behind him. Jeff Bergener actually gets himself up quite a bit as Will Eastman's being hung out on that outside line, and that's not good. As we got to see, it's not a death wish as he slots himself down in front, but it's looking like Gary Eschen right now running in 5th. He is wanting nothing to do with being behind that 21.
Yeah, he came really close there on the right, just like that right there. He's able to close the gap really well in these fresh tires, but he had to check up a lot right there and gave Will Eastman kind of a look right there. He almost had an opportunity to get by him, but chose not to. But Gary Eschen's able to close the gap really well in 3 and 4. And just a huge checkup. I think Brian Hacker is trying to save his tires. That's why there might be a little bit of a gap right there between Dustin Shepard and Brian Hacker in 3rd. He might be trying to back the corners up a little bit to save his tires because, I mean, Jeff and Gary are closing that gap really quickly on him. See?
And with the length of the run we just had, we had 40 laps of racing, and I can't say I blame him. These tires kind of seem cooked after about 10, so why not make it to where it's 15? Why not? These guys are great racers, so why?
It works out for him, but you have Jeff and Gary behind him that are wanting to get by him or trying to figure out why is he stalling going into turn 3? Why is he backing it up? It's got to be frustrating to be able to close the gap and get your nose almost to his back bumper, but there's nothing that you can do because he has a fantastic run off the corner.
And you would think that everybody would be picking up on that, to where honestly that is the thing, is do everything you possibly can to get the exit of 4 right, because it's where you're going to spin, as Gary Eschen is giving no inch as he is doing. Well, that's an interesting bumper sticker. But he's not giving any kind of an inch on corner entry, to where he is going all in as we see sparks flying. Somebody got the wall there, and it looks like that may have been Dante Curtis, as Dante falls back into 2nd, and it looks like he may be dropping into 3rd and possibly farther, as Brian Hacker is taking that line away from him. Jeff Bergener is still right there on the bumper. Gary Eschen, you could barely fit a sheet of paper through there rather than, let alone a car.
Yeah, these guys are battling hard. Dante's doing a great job on the outside right now. He's really hanging with Brian Hacker right now very well.
He's coming down as low as he possibly can safely to keep from getting doored. And honestly, I think he has something figured out to where all the extra pressure that Brian Hacker's getting from the 21, that is playing to Dante's advantage, because honestly, everybody behind him, they aren't capable of getting the runs to get around anyone, because there's no way we're going to be able to make 3 wide work here. We can go 3 wide. I just really, really hope they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it put everybody in a bind if somebody was able to drop down below Brian Hacker there and went 3 wide here. But Dante Curtis almost had a spot there, but Jeff stuffed it in there. I mean, he dropped 1.5 car lengths back, and Dante forces his way right there in the third, finds that low line behind Brian Hacker. But the person that liked all of this was Dustin Shepard. That's about a 7-8 car length gap right there. I mean, that's what I like to see as a leader.
Without a doubt, and especially on a track like this, he can start running whatever line he wants, because there is so much road coming off of that back bumper that we saw he was fast earlier. Him and Dante were opening up a massive gap, but now he's able to run exactly how he wants to be able to save his tires and still maximize his speed.
And we see Gary Eschen back there finally got underneath Jeff Bergener and is able to challenge for 4th place here.
And he is probably going to be able to do that because, honestly, he's got a lot of free track in front of him. So he can be as aggressive as he wants. He's not being held up like Jeff Bergener was, as he's technically in front of him and looking like he's going to be able to get in front of him to be scored ahead on this lap. But again, if I'm Jeff, that he's just got to, and we've got to go back up here because now Brian Hacker is just getting a mirror full of Dante Curtis. He was under a 1/10 of a second separated by timing and scoring, and it looks like that's not going to go away.
They're closing the gap. Dustin did have a 9/10 of a second gap. He's down to about a 7/10, so they've dropped 2/10 on him right now. I mean, who knows what Dustin could be back in the corners off saving his tires, so when they do get to him, he's able to kind of ease back into the gas and have a little bit fresher tires than these guys.
And that is probably the smartest move that he possibly could be making, but he could also be sitting there thinking, you know what, and it goes back to tires, we may be ending up with a bit of a caution because it seems like everybody's being a little more aggressive than they were the last time around. And I can honestly say, I don't think that I'm going to want to be anybody. We may be going for 2-tire stops if we end up going green. So keeping a little bit of freshness on the left side is going to be an advantage.
Yeah, I wonder how this car will work here. Usually the car's a little bit loose here. I don't know if that would be a great thing, especially coming off a 4 here of having the car even looser. So
Gary Eschen gets a little bit out of sorts mid-corner, and that's going to open up Will Eastman to drive it in there. Gets a little loose on the brakes, and that's going to check up the line and give Gary Eschen a little bit of breathing room. But also,
and Mike Alexander gets a capitalized right there. He's able to drop underneath him and kind of power through the corner here, trying to take the spot away from him.
And that's the kind of thing that we may see a little bit more of throughout the course of the night. Not necessarily desperation moves, but Again, going in a little bit more aggressive. The brakes do not like this banking with the turning a little too much, and we see those kinds of exact things where you get out of sorts and people are going to try to take advantage.
Yeah, these guys are doing their best though. They're stacked up really hard from about 6th place on back. I mean, they have them stacked up almost about 7-8 cars deep, and everybody's just waiting for that next person to make the horrible move, miss the corner, miss the braking spot, and trying to capitalize as best as possible, because that's basically the way you're going to get a position right now.
All right, we got to see what happened here. Dante Curtis gets himself up into 2nd place, and it just looks like he gets the powerful run off of 4, shows he's going to go ahead and put it in on that low line and has the pass done. But we're this mid-pack right now.
There's a battle for the lead.
Good Lord. I think Dustin Shepard may have taken and just let the speed go a little bit too much. These guys got up to him, and now it's time for Dante to run the magical line once again, as Dustin Shepard gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 4. Dante wasn't in the right position to be able to take advantage of it if he would have been on that low line looking to set it up early, but it looks like he's going to try it right now. He definitely is going to have this pass done, but is Dustin Shepard just going to slow it down, make it to where he drops in behind Brian Hacker? He does, and
that's a smart move right there. I mean, you know you're going to probably lose both of them at the same time. Just go ahead and lose them all in one corner and then get right back in the throttle and try to minimize the loss that you got.
Well, and especially with the gap back to Gary Eschen being only about a half a second, 1-2 laps worth of fighting to try to hold on to the position, and he's there, and there is a train waiting behind him that runs all the way back to Matt Cook, who is currently running in 9th. And after a bit of a rough go of things, Ryan Johnson back up to 11th, trying to get himself there. As we can actually see in the background, that's Devin Rogers and Adam Gebel going side by side. Nobody is given any space there, and they are doing what they can to make this interesting. As they touch coming out of the corner, the 25 gets shoved up into the wall ever so slightly, but they get the pass done. The 25 survives that brush with that concrete wall, and we're back to going around in circles, and no yellow as of yet.
Yeah, right now up front we just see Dante. He's kind of pulled away. He's got about a 2/3 second, or actually a 4/10 second away from Brian Hacker, about basically a 3-car length gap. So he's slowly starting to pull away. And Brian Hacker's about a 1-car gap over Dustin Shepard in 3rd, but Gary Eschen, Will Eastman, they have all caught up to Dustin Shepard, and Gary's putting a lot of pressure right now on the back bumper of Dustin Shepard for 3rd.
I would expect no different. He has been aggressive on the bumpers all night, and Dustin Shepard is looking a little bit loose going into the corners. And I'll be honest, it's actually a very fast way around the track, but it's hurting his exits as he gets a little bit, both get him a little sideways there. And that's opened up the door for Will Eastman to close the gap even further. So this is going to become quite the battle here as we see the 23 get down below the 89. And that's going to be more than just 2 spots this time around, as the 23 is past, the 13 is below. And the 00 of Jared Moggard is right there to take advantage as well. The 75 should be able to join this party. 23 gets a little bit loose, and that's going to keep closing this gap up. Will Eastman not quite coming up to the wall because the 89's still there hanging on, doing everything he can. But I think it's time to go ahead and just give up the positions and minimize the damage as much as you can, because Jesse Womack in the 14 is kind of closing at this point. And the more that these guys keep battling, taking those precious tenths of a second off of their time, that's just going to keep going as the 89 manages to slot in. But Gary Eschen now under pressure from Will Eastman. These guys are just going for it at this point. They only have one more stop that they have to make. So why not go ahead and push? We pitted on lap 40. You're coming up. It's about 30 laps from splitting that in half.
Yeah, these guys, you know, they're looking forward to when that next pit stop is. I know I am. You know, whenever I'm sitting there going through it, and I start falling back, or you know, I just want more grip. I'm like, when's that next pit stop? When are we going? It can't come soon enough.
I mean, learn how to save your tires, and you won't have to think that way.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem of late, as we see Will Eastman trying to throw looking low right now, and Gary Eschen going into 3. Looks like he's got the position down low. Looks like he's going to make the pass going into turn 1 here. See how much of a fight does Gary Eschen put up here.
I honestly think he's going to be able to make that outside line work for a little bit longer, just because how hard Will Eastman has been pushing to get himself into this position. As he gets a little bit of bad traction coming out of turn 4, Gary Eschen is right there. Luckily, he doesn't come down too far, but I think this is why the 23 is going to have the opportunity. He still gives him a little bit of space. He had the ability to get himself down and completely clear, and now he is, so he can pull his way back up, hold on to 3rd place. But right now, Dante Curtis, Brian Hacker, these guys have a second gap behind them. But that battling right now between the 23 and the 14, it's opening up a lot of doors and creating a lot of frustration for the next few guys behind them.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are looking for that next spot, and they want to hurry up and get by him. Right now, Gary's a little bit sideways there coming up the corner. They're seeing his numbers where they shouldn't be on the side of his door. And Will Eastman's now going to try and battle down low once again. And Gary's going to do what he did last time and try to see if he can defend on the outside line.
Well, he gives a little bit of a spark shower coming out of turn 2. That's going to sap a little bit of speed off of him. The 13, he is getting pushed beyond belief by the 00. And now there's too much of a train behind him, and I think it's time for the 23 to go ahead, stop the fight, realize that this is lost.
Travis back there, he's looking like he wants to try to make this outside lane work. I think it's going to work with the failing of the falling back of the 23, but he was able to get. Ooh, Gary almost hit the wall there.
I think he was just going to go ahead and give in, stop the fight, stop the bleeding. You still have at least 20 laps to be able to make it to where you're splitting this in half. He's killing his tires, and actually, speak of the devil, just make his way on in. It's a bold strategy.
I mean,
see if it does it.
You're falling back, you're losing it, you've worn out your tires. Go ahead and get the fresh set of tires and kind of work your way up. Everybody else is going to have to do it. You'll get that instant run, but sadly, I think other people, I mean, the fall off right now is only 0.6 of a second. So, I mean, late in the run, I mean, he's not going to fall off that much. It's not a second or two. It's right now about 6 to 7/10 of a second the most.
It's
their fastest lap.
Looking from the comments, he hit somebody else, and that's what put him into the wall. So why not go in at that point? Yeah, I can say I've made some questionable stop calls just because I hit somebody, and you know what? I'm tired of battling. Let's go ahead, take that pit, go. Just get yourself back out on track. You are going to be faster than everyone else, which can be frustrating in its own right. But you know what? you are going to be faster. I think everybody, for the most part, since we're single filed, not going to have any issues with that as Jared Mogard gets himself up into that final podium position, but we're hitting lap traffic quick as these guys actually, Brian Hacker, not sure what happened here, but he has dropped back. Dante Curtis is out by nearly 3 seconds of a lead at this point, but Brian Hacker, you can read that bumper from the 00 right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's you know, falling back a little bit. Dante's been pulling about a tenth or so a lap. So I mean, over you know, every 5-10 laps, he's gaining another second over him. So as this run goes on, Dante keeps it up. I mean, he's just going to slowly keep picking them off and pulling further away.
Well, and here's the other big thing that he has as an advantage is being 3 seconds out. The undercut's not going to work. As we see Brian Hacker get loose on corner entry and he holds on to it. I think it may be his tires are starting to hit the end of their life. And that's going to make it to where the 00 is going to be able to move up into second. Now Mike Alexander in the 75 is going to look to get around as well as Dustin Shepard dives into the pits. He is the next taker on lap 111. So these guys, they're starting to realize that maybe these tires as the 11 after those few scary corners, probably not the worst idea he's ever had. And right now, through pit stops and some quality driving and saving tires, which we know he can, Ryan Johnson up into 5th as the 13 of Will Eastman dives into the pits. And right now, all of these guys, Ryan Johnson is nearly a tenth of a second faster, on par with Dante Curtis.
Yeah, right now, you know, and we see if you look, well, whatchamacallit, Gary Eschen. Gary Eschen's about a straightaway now ahead of Dante Curtis. He came out of pits probably about 5 car lengths back from Dante. He's able to get almost a half a straightaway ahead of him, if not a full straightaway now. So that, I mean, that's how much faster the fresh tires are for everybody right now. So the more laps he gets out there, he's able to kind of rein in, and probably he might leapfrog Dante here. Dante's going to be pulling in for the pits now. He might be able to leap him in the short run, but I think Dante's going to have that long run speed and be able to take that lead back from him once he gets through here if Dante has a flawless pit stop.
As right now we are at the front end of the pit cycle, these guys are just going to go ahead, stay out. And again, Ryan Johnson, just hang on to it. You are now in 3rd, doing what you can to be able to get a little bit farther up in this pack after getting shuffled all the way to the end of the line. He has the extra speed, but the question will be, will they be able to take advantage of those fresher tires later into the race? As Ryan Johnson, he's getting himself down below the 00. Is he going to be able to take it? We're going to be going 3 wide off the corner here as the 00 gets a little loose, and that's going to relinquish second to Ryan Johnson, though he still has to pit, and there's Dante Curtis on his way out.
Yeah, it's just such long pit stops here. I mean, it feels like forever. And these guys are like, you know, once they get in that pit stop, they're just like, when am I going to go? You just see everybody else passing you. You just hope this pit cycle goes green all the way around and you don't get messed up on this pit cycle. No caution comes out and just everything cycles the way it goes all the way through.
Well, and the big thing is you're going multiple laps down when you go in here. You're going 3 laps down. Because that's just the nature of an 19-second lap. As Ryan Johnson goes into the pits, He is going full
sideways.
aggressive and dirt racing on the way in there. Honestly, for him to be able to cut as much time out of his pit stop as he can, that could put him right back into this race. We'll have to wait and see how much faster, if at all, he is, as Dante Curtis is getting down below Mike Alexander. He's going to go ahead and unlap himself for this lap. But the 75 needs to make his way into the pits eventually. However, he could be banking on, you know what? Yeah, these guys are going to be faster than me. I'm under control. Maybe I go ahead and stay out and wait for that caution.
Yeah, I'm looking at a time right now between Gary Eschen and Dante Curtis, because Gary Eschen short pitted there to get those fresh tires to start with. And there's about a 9-second gap right now between Gary Eschen and Dante Curtis. So we'll see how much of a gap that once everything cycles through where everybody's at. Ryan Johnson's able to, looks like he's going to be able to pull out right in front of Dante Curtis as well.
Well, and that's the thing. His tires, or his pit lane time, was nearly 10 seconds shorter.
His pit stop time was 10 seconds shorter. Maybe less fuel intake while he's underneath there, because everybody else behind him, you know, looking at Dante, Bryan, Will Eastman, all them, they're all in like 43, 45 seconds. These guys are pitted there are 36, 35 seconds that are coming in now. So I wonder if they're able to get that one notch lower fuel intake to get them to the end.
Well, and that is something with this car specifically. If you're waiting for fuel. You're not waiting for the tires. It's where it's only about 25 seconds, 26 seconds for the tires to be changed. You're waiting on the gas can. So if you needed to take 2 cans, yeah, you're going to be waiting. But right now, we still have 4 people that have yet to pit. Jared Mogart is currently leading the race. Hasn't pit since lap 40. Gage Killam, who is 9 seconds behind, is currently running in second. And we can actually see the 6 of Jeff Mathis right now. He's running in third. And again, why not wait? John Cross is also in fourth. And technically on the lead lap, there's the 00 making his way in. That's going to give Gage Killam the lead of the race once he cycles through. And if we have one person stay out and we have that caution, the entire field is going to be trapped a lap down, and that is never fun.
I mean, if your car is handling okay, you're not running the fastest times. I mean, these guys are running high 18s, low 19-second laps right now that are the last 3 that are staying out here. I mean, if your car's kind of stable and you can kind of run these laps, I mean, this is the best bet for you for pit strategy. I mean, run it completely dry and hope for that caution to come out. I mean, if the caution doesn't come out, I mean, it's going to put you at the end and pretty far back, but you'll have the freshest tires and you'll be able to start driving back to the field after everybody's tires have kind of started to fall off already.
As we're seeing right now, the current leader is getting passed by Dante Curtis. Again, these guys, they're multiple laps down at this point, so we're going to have to wait and see. We are on lap 134 as the leader makes his way in. That leaves the 6 of Jeff Mathis as one of 2 people who have not pit at this point, and he's trying to slide himself into the position. Looks like he's probably going to try to come in this lap as he gets himself down on the low line. And no, just go ahead and hang out. Why not? And once these guys do make their way in, we do have Kyle Walgreen in the 36. He is a lap down, but that is not because of his pit stop, so he technically, and we have the yellow. And not because of what we just saw either. Let's take a quick look. It looks like it's the 73 was the culprit here. I'm not sure what happens. Oh, the 68. Look, that was a steering failure.
Oh.
And oh, that shakes this up massively.
Yep, I mean,
John Cross was in the lead of this race. He's in the pits. He's getting his 4 tires, getting the fuel to the end. So on lap 138, we are going to have a large section of the pack laps down.
I mean, you're gonna have to, at this point, you're gonna stay out, get a wave around, and you got 2 people. 2 people are the ones gonna be up to pit here and get 4 fresh set of tires and be on the lead lap.
As Gary Eschen is currently in the lead of this race. He pitted on lap 101, managed to get himself, I can't even explain the strategy of this race right now. But Gary Eschen is on the lead lap. He should be getting the wave around, but he's going to go ahead and dive on into the pits. He'll stay on the lead lap, but actually John Cross going to retake the lead of this race. Ryan Johnson is actually running in second with Dante Curtis in third, but that is pending the wave around that they have.
Yeah, once everybody gets the wave around, we'll see that happen with 1 to go here. All these cars going on. I don't know if they're gonna extend it by 1. I'll let you know if I get to hear it with what's going on here. But yeah, it looks like everybody's gonna take a wave around. If that does happen, and everybody, all these guys, it's gonna put 9 cars back on the lead lap total. Maybe 10. I gotta look here.
It's going to be 8, but let's go ahead. No, they're getting the wave right now. So that is going to
extend the caution out.
That is going to stack everyone back up. And we'll have to wait and see. The 10 is going to be out there on the second freshest tires of the runners. But this has broken my brain. So the 10 will be leading. He pitted on lap 137. The gamble of staying out and putting everyone a lap down, and it looks like they're giving people multiple laps back. I'm so confused. I'm glad there's someone smarter running race control than me.
So John Cross apparently had a pit road penalty, which is putting him at the back.
Oh, that is painful. Oh, he must have gone in before catching the pace truck. But by the time we get ourselves back going, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break while things are getting sorted out here. And we will be back. Or green? Okay.
No.
Okay, yeah.
No. They're throwing it back out. He was talking. The admin was talking through what's going to happen, how everything's going to do. So they're.
All right. What?
So go ahead and go to commercial break.
5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. The 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties, and looks forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Wellville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order.
Alright, we're back, and apparently the driver chat is spicy. I'm glad that I don't get to hear it.
Yeah, they're just trying to discuss how to line up everything's going back and where everything stands. Kind of shook everything up here. The way this caution fell and the wave arounds and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So they're all trying to get lined up here, and I think Adam's stopping here right quick. Adam Gebel, and he's going to go to the back, I believe. So a lot of things happening.
Yeah, because it really seemed like John Cross was going to be able to lead us to green in the ideal position, but those pit lane penalties, they are just the absolute worst.
Yeah, he got caught speeding on pit road and put him to the back. Great pit strategy they had, all ruined by pit road speeding. I mean, he was by himself, so I don't understand.
There is no logic behind when you get a pit road speed penalty. It just happens, and it happens to the best. Yes, and in that I'm implying that I'm one of those, but I haven't done it in a very long time. But we should be going green this next time around, I hope. Because this is turning out to be a very strange race.
Yeah. So they are lined up. The pace truck lights are off, and they are going to go green here with 104 lap 149. We'll have 51 laps left on this race.
With the two drivers that, this is going to make it very spicy for quite some time. The 38 and the 03 next to each other, the 89 right there. The 38 goes very early, trying to catch people off guard on that corner exit. Manages to get himself completely clear. The 03 gets himself in the perfect position right on his bumper, and we are gonna be racing hard for these last 50 laps. The 38 is under pressure from the 03 going into turn one. He's gonna get himself down below, and the Dante Curtis showing that skill to get himself in the right position at the right time. But the 38, he's battling somebody that he has not had to battle all night, and Ryan Johnson has that outside line figured out perfectly. Gets himself back up in the lead of this race, but right now the 89 is looking to join the party as quickly as he possibly can, and these front four have nearly a full second over fifth place of John Cross. Despite that penalty, still up there in the top five, but only slightly.
Yeah, right now we're back up to 16 people on the lead lap after everything was shooken out. And we got Dante Curtis looking low right now, Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson's going to try and fight back here on the outside, trying to use that high side momentum here going down the back straightaway. Trying to carry, was not able to clear him, and we have a caution. Jeff Mathis, it looks like it might be the...
All right, let's go ahead and go to one of the overhead views for this and see what happens here. Oh, it looks like he may have gotten a little nudge from the 23, and the 23 tries to fit a car in where there's not room, gives the 6 a bit of a spin, and that's what gives everybody that opportunity to go ahead and dive into pit lane, and it looks like the only taker is Dustin Shepard. So only about 6 people, looks like 7, decided to go ahead and make their way into the pits. So the top 9 stay out. And the person with the oldest tires right now is Dante Curtis, pitted on lap 115. Ryan Johnson, 121. Then
Actually,
Will
Travis
Eastman.
Hoefler at 112.
And that's rolling all the way back. He's currently running in 5th after the people that went into the pits cycled back to just a little bit farther back. But yeah, Travis Hoefler, those tires may be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to kind of roll the dice here and try to stay out there, and maybe hoping caution breeds cautions here on these late runs. Tempers are a little bit high out there in the race chat, so I think let's see how this is gonna work. They're all grouped back up, all varying different pit strategies here, different tire strategies. Who knows how hard these guys drove it here underneath these 2 pit cycles here. See what happens.
And I just realized, forgot this earlier, this is one of the Showdown events, so it is a double points night. So yeah, probably a few extra tempers flaring, because
Where's Mike Alexander at? Where's he at? He's
Mike
back in 11th.
Alexander is at 11th right now, and looks like the 00 is blinking a little bit for me. Maybe he may not win all of the showdowns
Mike
this
Alexander's,
this year.
He always shows up right there, right when it counts on those showdown races. So let's see if he gets back up in the mix at the end of the race.
But we are getting ready to go racing. The pace truck lights are off, and Ryan Johnson goes immediately. I'm wondering if he saw that blink from Dante Curtis and decided that it was time to go, to where that gives Will Eastman the opportunity to get down below Dante Curtis. Ryan Johnson is completely clear, but he wanted to create a little bit of a battle behind him, because that gives him some breathing room. Dante Curtis doing a decent job of fighting around on that outside line, but it looks like he may not have it figured out like Ryan Johnson did. He had to battle through the pack, so he probably had to figure out quite a few different lines to be able to make that work. But now Will Eastman is up there on the bumper of the 38. He's running wide. Dante Curtis slots back into 5th. But Ryan Johnson under pressure from Will Eastman. Will Eastman's going to go ahead and throw it into the low line. Ryan Johnson probably not going to be able to give it up that quickly, but he is going to continue to fight. Will Eastman is doing Dante Curtis a favor by forcing him to the outside line and giving no inch to the 38, and it's looking like there may be a bit of a freight train run here, but Ryan Johnson doing everything he possibly can. And we're seeing a lot of battling going on. Will Eastman slides up in front. Now it's Brian Hacker's turn to try to push him back just ever so slightly farther. But I don't think that Brian Hacker's quite going to have the speed and the ability to hold him off as much as everyone else has.
I mean, is it me, or is Ryan Johnson basically pinching Brian Hacker down? Brian Hacker has about 15 laps, 16 lap fresher tires. I mean, they've both been through pit cycles here, but Will Eastman and Brian Hacker have basically the same lap tires, but Ryan Johnson right now up there, he's got the farthest back until you hit Dante Curtis. So the 2 freshest tires are sitting in 1-2 right now.
And that is one of those things that these guys went in a little bit earlier, trying to make sure just split the race in half. But we're starting to see a lot of people driving a little bit harder, as right now this is the battle. This is Travis Hoefler and Rodney Huntoon. They're going door to door and using 8 tires to turn, because we're ticking the laps off right now. And that is what they need to do to try to hold on to these positions. The 20 is doing everything he possibly can to try to not lose that speed, but that is opening up the door for Mike Alexander to catch this group. Running on fresh tires, went in on that last pit stop and makes it to where he should be able to run through over 40 lap fresher tires than the two guys in front of him. And this has to be frustrating knowing that they are side by side, meaning he cannot make a move. But
he can't make a move safely. He can make a move, but it'd be risky for everybody on the track.
That is true, and we aren't quite at that point. Once we hit like 185, that's when I expect more of those moves to start happening. But this front pack, they are starting to separate themselves. It is closing in on a second gap.
Mike Alexander's choosing to pass him on the high side. He's got Rodney Huntoon on the outside and making it work with those fresh tires on the outside.
And that's what we love to see, is this little bit of a difference that they're going to make. And once Mike Alexander gets himself clear, as long as he doesn't burn him up in this process, which running that outside line, and we have caution.
And over the radio check, Gary Eschen said that's on him. So see, it's him and Jared Mogard.
And let's go ahead and take a quick look. There's the 01. Yeah, I'm not going to make a call there.
Hey, he just said he got in a little hot there, and kind of doing. We got some people on pit road. Ryan Johnson staying out. A couple more. We got Brian Hacker, Dante Curtis, Rodney Huntoon, Gage Killam, John Cross. And then who's that? Who's sitting in fourth right now?
I know. Mike Alexander. Making it's a showdown race. Of course he's going to be right there. With those massively fresh tires in comparison to the people in front of him.
I mean, Brian Hacker and Dante Curtis and all that, they got to start back from 10th and try to work their way through people who've already pitted on this last one. So not as fresh as tires, but still pretty fresh tires. 20 laps with some caution laps thrown in there. I don't see him making up the progress like Mike Alexander. I think Mike had the best pit strategy out of all of them right now, along with Adam Gebel, Matt Cook, Dustin Shepard, and Jared Mogart right there, all in from 4th to 9th, all pitting a 154.
And honestly, so Brian Hacker right now is currently the front runner of the people that pit on that. He's going to have Dante Curtis on his outside. They have 8 cars to work through here. I'm not saying it's impossible with 25 laps to go, but we're definitely seeing a lot more aggressive of racing. I think what we are going to see is another caution coming out before they're really able to take advantage of those fresher tires. And that one heat cycle could make all the difference.
Right now, cautions have been breeding cautions, and we're, I think we're about to get one to go here. Yeah, they're starting to line up here, one to go here. Will Eastman will take the point here, I believe? Or is it still Ryan Johnson?
No, it is Will Eastman, who's starting on the low line. He's going to be able to dictate, and the biggest thing for him is make sure he goes early enough to trap that outside line high, running a bit farther of a distance, and he is off very early, and that is probably going to give Ryan Johnson the opportunity to slot back into second.
No, it does not.
Yes, he does.
Travis Hoefler, he was trying to come there, but we got Mike Alexander working on the outside of Travis Hoefler now.
And this is what I was expecting to see. He's going to get the run off of turn 4, get his nose down below. Those fresh tires are going to just make it to where he can breeze past Travis Hoefler.
All right, well, 13's got a drop down. He has a restart violation. He went too soon there. So he has to drop down and do a pit road pass through. Ryan Johnson's going to take over the lead. Mike Alexander is diving down for second place now.
And Ryan Johnson needs to open up as much of a gap as he can while Mike Alexander is battling on for that second place with Travis Hoefler, and just try to coast off into the distance as the 13 comes out a lap down. He is going to be traffic for these guys. The 38 manages to drop in front, and that is perfection for the 38. He now has free track for the most part in front of him. Mike Alexander manages to get the pass done, now has the 13 to contend with. And not quite able to get clear. The 20 is hanging on quite well. And Mike Alexander's running like a gentleman and making sure he has room and doesn't ruin his own night in the process. He slots up to the wall, but we're starting to see a lot of shaking going on back here behind Mike Alexander. 20 gets a little bit loose. The 91 and the 89 try to get down below. The 89's in the wall, and he holds onto it. The 11 of Brian Hacker's trying to keep him.
Ooh.
And we have carnage. And that is going to bring the yellow flag out. And whoo. We got to see that one live. But let's take one quick look there. And actually, that did not go far enough back for my liking. He hits the wall there, is doing everything in his power to collect it. The 11 is there, checks up. But as the 89 comes down, hits the 11, sends it into the wall, and we have caution, and looks like we have a few more people diving on in. Jared Moggard, Brian Hacker, after getting a little bit of a tag there. Jesse Womack, Kyle Walgreen, all heading in. Well, we have 15 laps to go. I need a quick break before we take it to the checkered flag, so let's hear from our sponsors.
Track Time Entertainment is located in Texas and builds custom driving simulators with a personal touch. Rigs are fully customizable with color options and utilize 80/20 US extruded aluminum. These rigs offer a wide range of adjustability, as well as different options for wheels, shifters, and keyboards. The possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, Track Time Entertainment can build it for you. RC2 Race Promotions is an iRacing event planning and coordination service. If you have an idea for a special one-off money race but don't have the time to handle all the legwork, RC2RP can help. We offer event conception, planning, day-to-day operations, and race event services to cover all of your needs. We are competitively priced and offer detailed services to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. To inquire, visit us on Facebook.
And we are back, and right now Ryan Johnson is going to have to make this car 5 lanes wide to be able to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. Mike Alexander's got 20-something laps, fresh or newer tires on him, but we got a lot of heat cycles through this. So did these tires equalize? Are they closer running to the same lap times now? Is Mike Alexander going to try and do the outside run on him?
Honestly, he managed to do that very well the last time, but the lights on the pace truck are off, so we don't have to wait to find out. But Ryan Johnson, 30 lap older tires. Adam Gebel starting in 4th. That outside line has nice fresh tires, but the 38 is waiting to go ahead and start. Gets it moving, gets clear, and now it's going to be, is the 75 going to be impeded? No, he is not. The 20 gets right behind him. These guys go single file for the top 5. But the question is how cooperative are all of the cars behind him going to be to make it to where Mike Alexander has enough laps to make those fresher tires work? Because actually right behind him, Travis Hoefler and Mr. Dante Curtis going side by side. Dante trying to get himself up into third, has the fresher tires, should be able to pull it off. Looks like he's going to probably be clear going into one, barely clear. But Ryan Johnson under massive amounts of pressure from Mike Alexander. We're going to have to wait and see how hard he is going to have to defend. He is watching that low line like a hawk as the 75 looks like he's going to try to throw it in. 38 gets into the corner just enough. Will he be able to get the run off? The 75 is going to look again, but Ryan Johnson closes the door, and he is going to have to defend with his life to make this happen, as Dante Curtis is looking to put the move on the 75, and that's what Ryan Johnson's wanting to see, is a little bit of a battle going on behind him to be able to coast through. We're about to hit lap with 6 to go as Dante
right now,
Curtis gets clear.
Yeah, Dante, I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, but he was able to. I think with the help of the cautions here, got him on the right spot at the right time. Everybody was collected. He's able to drive back through the field. Dante Curtis is now beating the back bump of Ryan Johnson. He drops down low off of 4. Gets a little squirrely there, but able to hold him right there. Mike Alexander's doing what he can. I think cut off the nose of Adam Gebel just a little bit.
Oh.
He's able to drop underneath Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson's all out of sorts, but he drops right back in the turn 3 as we are coming to 4 laps to go.
Oh, these guys are doing everything in their power. And right now, Adam Gebel running in 4th. He is trying to get himself up to Ryan Johnson, but he has his hands full with Travis Hoefler right behind him. So these guys, it has all come down to pit strategy. We have 3 to go. Dante Curtis, the freshest tires out of the group, is currently leading this race. And he should have relatively smooth sailing for these last 2 laps.
Ooh, Travis Hoefler is down low. He's able to hold on to it. No caution as of yet. Looks like we're going to stay green here with 2 laps to go.
We are coming to the white flag. Dante Curtis in the lead of this race. Mike Alexander in 2nd. Ryan Johnson in 3rd. And these guys just want to bring it home. No cautions left to come out. Dante Curtis gets the pole, gets shuffled to 2nd, and comes back through with the right pit strategy to win the RC2 Race Promotions 200 and double points.
Mike Alexander almost pulled it off, trying to get the next showdown and win all of them together so far this season. But Dante was able to pull it off, drive back through the field, and get the win.
All right, let's go ahead and take a run through our finishing order. Dante Curtis brings home the win. Mike Alexander in 2nd. Ryan Johnson rounding out the podium. Adam Gebel in 4th. Jared Moggard in 5th. Brian Hacker 6th. 7th, Rodney Huntoon. 8th, Will Eastman. 9th, Gage Killam. 10th, John Cross. 11th, Matt Cook. And 12th is Kyle Walgreen.
We got 13th is Jesse Womack. 14th is Travis Hoefler. 15th is Adam Boltemere. 16th is Devin Rogers. 17th is Dustin Shepard. 18th is Gary Eschen. 19th is Jeff Mathis. 20th is Robbie Clavey. 21st is Jordan Madron. 22nd is Jeff Bergener. And 23rd is Shane Loveridge.
All right, let's go ahead. Bring up our winner on the night. Once I can actually find him. And Dante, You have had just the most chaotic night, from my opinion. What was going through your mind on that last pit stop?
Well, we were worried about tires the whole time there, especially when we had that long green flag run, and then that incident with Jordan and Robbie happened. I don't know what happened there, but all I know is the way not everybody had pit yet, so it ruined pit cycles, and we went green and then went back yellow. So that I think that gave Brian and somebody else their lap back. So that really hurt us. I was thinking the whole time that last run that. As like Brian was right behind me and had newer tires, so I was really tickled to see him come down and pit with me to get them tires there, because that was the way it worked out was pretty good there. I mean, thankfully that was 2 cars I didn't have to pass, and I don't think if I would have had to pass those 2 guys, I would have had enough time. I kept on thinking that the yellow before was when we should have pit, but thankfully it worked out.
Yeah, I didn't know if you're going to be able to get back through. I think that that late yellow there that came out right after you guys pitted, it kind of helped you kind of regroup and then come back through and be able to make that final charge through the field. There, kind of bunched everybody back up. So I'm not sure if you would have been able to made it all the way back through, but I mean it was one hell of a charge to be able to, regroup. I thought it was Mike Alexander's race to lose there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I knew when we were right before I pit there, Ryan, me and him were same speed, if he might have been a little quicker, and thankfully somebody beat Mike at one of these showdown races this season. His strategy is literally always right on point, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was the car to beat or Ryan was. I know he was all over him, but thankfully them battling helped me set up Mike a little bit, and once I got past him, I really run down Ryan, and I think he must have had newer stuff or something than Ryan, but yeah, really just the timing really worked out.
Yeah, you guys were all at about 20 lap different, to where you were 20 laps newer than Mike Alexander, and it was actually 30 for Ryan behind Mike. So yeah, it was one of those things. We were waiting to see how aggressively Ryan was going to be defending, but I won't say that he was a complete gentleman, but he didn't go too hard.
No, he definitely didn't make it easy. I just kept on thinking I'd get a run up under him off the corner, and then both of our left sides would be right there in the grass trying to go down the straightaway. So if it came to, I mean, I tried to do it without any contact, and luckily it worked out that way. But if he was going to be in front of me, all the way down to the grass, I wasn't going to let him be all the way down in the grass anymore. I was just, because I knew as if I could get by him, then he wouldn't be able to run me back down.
I got you, man. But a fantastic job. You're able to come in and after last week's disappointing race on the controller, come back here and get the win. I know that you technically got the pole, started on the outside of the pole, and get the win, man. I know it's a great points night for you.
Yeah, thank you guys for spinning a good wheel tonight. That really worked out. We could stay up front pretty much the whole race until pit cycles kind of screwed us. But no, it was night and day better than running on that controller last week. I kind of got the hang of it after about 85, 90 laps, but by then I was already 2 laps down. So I got my wheel in the mail today and hooked it up, and we're already 1 for 1 with it. So hopefully we can go 2 for 2 with it next week.
It's always a wonderful feeling realizing that you are undefeated with the wheel, and until that is changed, it is the best wheel ever.
Oh yeah, dude, this is it right here. I was worried about getting something new, so we went back to the old G27. But all these guys keep on thinking, they were like, "What kind of direct drive wheel or big high dollar wheel do you got?" But can't really beat the G27 here. So.
I mean, I have a very expensive wheel myself, and I just love being, feeling that true immersion as I get my ass kicked. So that's what I like to do. I like to be able to get that true immersion. So whenever, I get, destroyed every night, that I feel like I have the true immersion compared to other people.
Yeah, I'm worried about getting the real immersion when you reckon those things in those direct drive wheels. They got so much strength they'll break your
Oh.
wrist or something.
We
You gotta be-
actually talked about that at the beginning of the
yeah,
session.
I remember when those things come out, you had to be careful hitting somebody full throttle. Like if you were testing or something, they'd break your wrist.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah. So, but anyway, before we go here, I just gotta thank a whole bunch of people. Just gotta thank Dustin and Brandon and Devin back at DCD Racing. Shout out to Phil. Hope he's watching in Vegas, winning some money. Just got to shout out to my dad at home, watching always. American Racer South, Circuit World, Dante Curtis Designs. Just thank all them guys, and hopefully we'll be talking to y'all next week.
All right, sounds like a plan. Hopefully Nashville will be just as nice, and I mean, it's another one that you can come from the back. We got to see Ryan do it today. We've seen you do it before.
Yeah, it'll be tough there, but I think I've done it before at that place, so we're gonna try and put forth a good show next week.
All right, sounds good. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
User left your channel.
All right, now onward to the man that the stats would say he was going to be talking to us first tonight, but it's second.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
A showdown, and you weren't winning.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have very high hopes for this place. I'm not normally very good here, so I am tickled pink with the second place finish here.
Yeah, I was like, after you pitted a lap 154, and I was like, where's Mike at? We're closing in on the last quarter of the race. Let's see where he's at. I think you were sitting around like 10th or 11th after that caution, and you pitted. And then the next caution came out, you're running 4th, and then the next one was you're running 2nd. So I was like, he's right there trying to get the best finish he can right now to try and maximize and win every showdown race we've had so far.
Yeah, I really felt really good there. I think it was the second last caution right before that. And when I had those new tires, and I felt like I was running everybody down and felt like I was in good position. And then when Brian and Dante and a couple of them guys pitted on the last one, I knew it was going to be that was such a 50-50 call for me. Like I didn't know if they'd have enough time to get through, or if, in Brian's case, maybe they get caught up in something. But it worked out, I guess. I wish I could have got by Ryan before Dante got to us. I think we would have been reversed roles if that would have happened, but I'll most certainly take a second.
It was that difference. It was 19 lap fresher tires. Granted, some of it was under caution, but still, this is a track that those first 10 laps on tires are just golden. Then you drop about 2/10, and then it just kind of flattens out for the rest.
Yeah, and I really didn't have that blistering speed at the beginning. Like that wasn't something that I could just figure out here. So I wasn't really getting the true advantage of the tires. And then I don't know. I think no. Congrats to Dante. Like I said, I just wish I could have got around Ryan, because, like I said, I really wanted to make it 3 showdowns.
It was close, but again, last week you tell us that it's not one of your best tracks. Then a second, especially when you're talking double points, it's helping to maintain the gap as much as possible.
Yeah, but the guy that I'm trying to chase down still beat me, so that's not really helping my cause at all.
But it's still a good points night. Next week we're off to Nashville Fairgrounds. Similar-ish track, but...
Oh, Nashville? If we're in Nashville, I heard we're the dirt track next week, but if we're Nashville, I like Nashville. I've always been good there in the supers, so hopefully that transfers over to the street stocks, because that's probably one of my favorite places. So hopefully we can maybe get the job done there.
No, you've got 1 week before you have to go back to dirt.
Oh, thank God.
And then you guys are off to my favorite of the tracks you guys are visiting at Concord.
Yeah, I've never ran a league race there, so I don't know how that one's gonna go. But we'll see what happens.
All right, but congratulations, sir. And we'll see what you have for us next week at Nashville.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right,
Have a good
take
one.
care.
Yeah.
All right, now we have the third place finisher doing some of the best defending that I have ever seen, Mr. Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, that's all I had left. The old tires just killed me at the end there with that. I would have pit under one of those cautions, but it was goofy. We're actually talking about it right now, but it had shown that like me, Dante, and Dustin were a lap down, but then when we crossed the line, we weren't, and we were so confused and we didn't pit. And I was like, well, I'm not pitting from here on out because that was going to be my best chance.
It broke my brain, and at the end of the day, it was a fantastic race for you guys, and it was good to see that you managed to make that outside line work as you were moving up through the field.
Man, I had to pass the field like twice because I screwed myself on that first pit stop, and I got an EOL. So then I had to reset again, and holy crap. Yeah, by the time green flag pit stops came around, we were about to break into the top 5, but then people started pitting, and man, I wish we could have had more green. I think that would have helped me out a lot tonight.
You could definitely tell that you were moving through the field, but when you're overcoming a win from last week and the invert was as bad as it was, it's not going to be an easy feat. But on a double points night, you end up getting a third, having to start from the back. It's still a good points night. Unfortunately, you're chasing down the 2 people that were in front of you.
Yeah. Well, I think the only one that's ahead of us that didn't finish ahead of us was Hacker. And yeah, we'll reset again. I don't know what we're going to do.
Still have a few races. Next week we're at Nashville, which should be a fantastic opportunity to be able to make up some ground because it's similar style, a little bit bumpier. And instead of 4 being the treacherous exit, it's 2.
Yeah, Nashville is pretty fun. Unfortunately, I can't remember if we had a good race like was it last season or the season before, but didn't have a lot of cautions there. But hopefully we don't. We can get some green flag racing in, have another good run. Hopefully.
I'm trying to
I got you, man.
Yeah, this was last season was 7 cautions.
Yeah, not one of our best, but that's all right. Maybe we can have a better one this season. Seems, especially with the lower car count, we tend to have cleaner races. So maybe we will. We'll see. I don't know.
All right, man. Well, hey, and third place is pretty good. You know, double the points here for you. So you're able to get double thirds. I know second and first would look a little bit better, but I mean, you did the best what you had. You got beat by almost 50 lap fresher new tires there. So, I mean, is what it is. And we'll move on next week and see what you can do at Nashville.
Appreciate it, guys. That's all we can do.
Yeah. All right. Take care, and we'll see what we can do next week.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
User left your channel.
All right. So that is going to do it for us here at Ghostfire Media and the RC2 Race Promotions 200. It was a fantastic race. Another showdown down. We have one more to go. But that is going to be it. Make sure and catch us next week from Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. Have yourself a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.